Just how a diamond forms under pressure, we as humans become beautiful and strong by suffering. Today I will be talking about how suffering should not be viewed at as a negative thing and should be viewed at as a learning experience and something positive. Me personally, throughout my life, I have suffered a lot. The first being that I was a military brat, and switching from city to city, high school to high school, it was very challenging for me when I was young, because it wasn't just the moving part that took a toll on me. It was finding friends, building relationships, even getting to know my surroundings, and having to do that frequently was always a struggle for me. Secondly, my parents got divorced when I was at a young age, and because of that, it created a conflict between me and both of my parents, not just one. Something as simple as driving to different houses was something that I disliked a lot and ended up causing a lot of problems for all three of us. The last one was I was recently re-diagnosed with epilepsy. I had it when I was younger. I got cleared for about 10 years, and then I got it again about a few months ago. There are two different types of ways of suffering. There's physical, which I see as injury, illness, or disabilities. So if you sprain an ankle, you have the common cold, or in my case, you have epilepsy. The second way is psychological. I see this as the mental and emotional state that you're in. So that could be something as stress, anxiety, depression, sad, whatever it may be. I'm choosing a quote from one of my CWI library sources. It says, "Suffering, why? It's the sole reason for consciousness." I see this as, in order to accept the good that will come from suffering, you also have to accept and recognize the bad. Even though suffering can have a big impact on our daily lives, there's also many and good ways to overcome it. The first one is accepting the suffering. When you accept the suffering, you tend to grow a lot more better. And for me, that was very hard whenever I first had my epilepsy, because I didn't know how to accept it. And by not accepting it, I was always pushing it away and denying that I had epilepsy. But the truth is that I didn't. And once I decided to accept it, it made me be comfortable with my epilepsy and not look at it as a disability anymore, really. There are two ways that I see to overcome suffrage. The first one is social support, such as being with friends, family, partner, whatever it may be. Just being around people that care for you and that you care for. This can help because it can get your mind off of things, or just being around other people may lift your spirits a little bit higher and make you kind of forget about what you're going through. The second way is lifestyle changes. I see this as going and telling yourself that this is something you want to do for yourself. Whether it's something small like getting 15 minutes of outside time a day, or something big like saving up for something that's really expensive in the future. You're still making a different lifestyle change to help you in the long run. There are many ways to overcome these impacts. There are results from these impacts. There's first the psychological, which I get from trauma. So from being a military brat and having divorced parents, that caused a lot on my mental health. And for a while, I didn't know how to deal with it. But the biggest thing that came from it was my anxiety and my depression. I don't really have them anymore because I've had a lot of help throughout the years, but those were the biggest results that I've had from anything psychological. Second one is physical. There's the short-term physical pain and then long-term physical pain. So the short-term is what I see as if you have a cold or you have an injury and it takes you out for a few months, few weeks, few days, and you can't do what you want to do right then and there. So if you sprain an ankle and you can't go out with friends, or if you're sick and you can't hang out with family, that's something short-term. I see long term as having a disability and not being able to do some of the things that your friends without disabilities may be able to do. Or if you've had surgery and that causes you a lot of pain throughout the rest of your life. I believe suffering is important for the simple fact that suffering will always be here. Suffering is something that will always come, no matter what, when, where, why. I believe suffering will always be there. And if you can get comfortable and get used to suffering, then it would make you as a person more adaptable and more open-minded to unique and certain situations. In conclusion, suffrage makes us recognize and motivates us to grow. As my mom used to say, suffrage is an extension of beauty and pain. Thank you.